Hey Lanny, I want to show you a couple things just since I haven't had time to run out to Johnstown. This is Fibron material, this is Moringa, it's a different color. This is the latte color that you are interested in. A couple things that I don't like about Fibron. First of all, it has a really thin cap. Like you can see, it's paper thin. In some spots, it's almost not even covering it. They also only cap their material on three sides, so the two edges and then the top, the bottom is just raw composite material. Just invites a lot of water and swelling into the material. The other thing that I don't like is that they cap basically a solid board and then run their dado right down the edge, so that edge is also uncapped where your hidden fasteners would be attached. It's decent material. It's probably better than Trex, but it's really not that great. This is the vintage material I told you about. This is Landmark collection, but it's the same price point, the same material, essentially just different color schemes. This is actually PVC core, which I think is actually really cool material. Stays really cool in the summer, doesn't get super cold in the winter. It's a little more insulated. Doesn't expand and contract as much as like the traditional composite stuff. And then obviously capped on all four sides, so you're not getting water damage and stuff in there. The cap is about the same thickness, but it's a different polymer, and it just holds up a little bit better to wear and tear. You know, like you can see that I've already started putting scratches in that. This would actually be the third option, and I mentioned that in my email. This is TimberTech. It's their middle. TimberTech has four categories, I think. This is their number 2 category, so it's not the most expensive, but capped on all four sides. I like that they also cap the groove where those hidden fasteners are going to go. And then you can tell on the top there that the cap is a lot thicker than the Fibron stuff. So overall, that would actually be my recommendation. Color-wise, this is Fibron, this is TimberTech. Color-wise, pretty much an exact match. Obviously, we could get a different color of this category for you if you want. This would actually be my recommendation, especially since the Fibron 20-foot material is probably not available. So that's it for decking. I did a little mock-up here. I want to show you something. So when I keep talking about like details and perfectionist stuff like that, there's a lot of guys that once they get their ledger up and their beam, they'll just slap in their joists, boom, 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 and then they're starting decking same day, right? What happens when you do that though, like you can see that all these pieces of material are not the same height, right? There's some variation in the width of these boards, and then there's variation on individual boards with high and low spots. And if you just slap your decking on top of that, it's going to look like a pool floaty. And I see a lot of decks like that right now. And it's not that it doesn't fail code. Like there's no code for unsightly decking. It just doesn't look good. It's not a code issue, but it's just a poor quality, poor craftsmanship in my opinion. So I actually take the time to plane all my joists down and get the entire deck level. Usually takes about 3 days, but I take the time to do that before I actually start laying decking. So that way when it rains or whatever, you don't see giant puddles in random spots around the deck because there's high and low spots, you know. The whole thing is just perfectly flat. It is time consuming and I charge for that, but I think that's the right way to do it, and that's kind of the caliber of work that I expect from myself. Also, G-tape, I mentioned that in the quote. That's like a rubberized tape. There's a few different brands. G-tape is a brand, but there's a few different brands out there. It's all the same stuff. It's just a rubberized tape that goes over the top of the joists. I really like it for the hidden fasteners for a couple different reasons. Number one, you're not getting, if you face screw your material, you know, your potential water issue would be kind of mitigated by the deck board itself. But when you're using a hidden fastener system, you're creating a water entry point right between the gaps of the decking, if that makes sense. So now you have an entry point here, and pretty quick way to deteriorate your joists. So that's part of the reason the flashing tape will seal those screw holes. The other reason too is that when you're using the hidden fasteners, sometimes the material will kind of rock back and forth on the fastener clip, and it's not a lot. It's not like rickety rackety, but it rocks a little bit, and you can kind of hear it and visually or physically feel it when you step on it. You can feel that board shift a little bit. So the rubberized stuff allows that fastener to suck down just a little bit tighter, and then gives the decking a grippy surface to stay in that position. Again, one of those things. The material is relatively cheap. I think it's like, I don't know, probably $300-400 or something for the size of deck that you have to do that. Doesn't take super long. It would probably take a day to cover everything like that. So it's not crazy expensive, but it's just another detail that a lot of guys will omit because, you know, if I can make my quote $500 cheaper, I'll probably get the job, right? I just don't think that's the correct way to do it. I understand that everyone has their budget and their priorities, but I just don't think that's the correct way to do it. So that is included in my bid, and I would recommend it. I think that's it. Take a look at those quotes. Let me know if you have questions. All right, man. Bye.